Ever wondered how many accountants you actually have to communicate with in order to find those unicorns, as they're often called, producing partners? I'm going to walk through in this video exactly what it takes in terms of the KPIs, or key performance indicators, in order to form profitable producing partnerships with accountants and other strategic partners. So this is based off not only my own experience after 10 years of working with accountants, but also our company who trains wealth managers and insurance producers how to form partnerships with CPAs. So there's two primary ways that you're going to be getting introductions to accountants. That's going to be either warm or cold. Warm could be through clients, prospects, or other business relationships like a banker, an attorney, a payroll specialist, commercial insurance agent, and also friends, family members. And then we obviously have cold. That could be email, that could be phone call, that could be stopping in their office, that could be using LinkedIn, any type of cold strategy. When you're getting introductions from warm relationships, you should see about a 50% success rate from the initial introduction to actually setting a meeting with them. So if you got 10 introductions, you should be expecting 5 meetings. Cold, on the other hand, you're going to have to do a lot more activity. 5 to 10% success rate, which means if you reached out to 100, you're expecting somewhere between 5 to 10 meeting number ones. Now, you really want to make sure you're following some type of process when you're meeting with strategic partners. We have all of this scripted out for individuals that work with us. You don't necessarily need to do that. You just want to make sure you understand how are you bringing them a unique value proposition, not selling them products, not trying to sell their clients products, but how are you actually bringing value to this strategic partner? So in meeting number one, you want to learn about them, and then you want to communicate how you're bringing them value. That should result in about a 50% success rate of meeting number one moving on to meeting number two. Meeting number two, you basically want to be a little bit less formal, less scripted. You want to make sure you say, based on our previous discussion, what questions do you have for me? Make sure they understand exactly what the relationship with you could look like, how you could benefit them, and also how you could potentially benefit their clients. After a second meeting, we typically suggest inserting a third meeting in here where we are going to sit down and go through an engagement agreement. Now, sometimes we can go right from a meeting number one or meeting number two to trying to get a producing partner. I don't suggest it. I suggest a meeting number three here, and just go through what type of expectations do we have of each other and what type of roles and responsibilities are we expecting in this relationship, ideally using some type of informal 1 or 2 page engagement agreement. Now, once they sign this engagement agreement, you're going to see about a 60% success rate. So let's take a step back. 50% success rate between meeting number one and meeting number two. Roughly 60% from meeting number two to meeting number three. And then another 60% from yes, I'm meeting with you, I want to actually work with you, to I want to become a producing partner, meaning I actually want to do some business together. So this is all very exciting. People get super fired up when they have a CPA, an attorney, an enrolled agent that says, yes, I want to form this partnership with you. However, there's still one more step, and it's actually the biggest step, which is to turn that yes into cases. And that's what we refer to as a producing partner, because at the end of the day, if the tree does not produce fruit, this is not a sustainable activity. So you should expect somewhere between 30 to 40% of the accountants that say, yes, I want to work with you and sign your engagement agreement, to actually produce fruit. So if we want to do some reverse engineering here, what we typically say is the goal for any individual wealth manager or insurance agent should be to have 2 really good, productive accountant partnerships. Now, in order to get those 2, you're probably wondering, well, how much activity do I need on the front end? So let's do that math. We roughly would need 6 to say yes in order for 2 to actually produce, which means we would roughly need 9 to say yes, I would like to engage with you, which means we would need 15 to move from a meeting number 2 to a meeting number 3, which means we would need to have 30 meeting number 1s. So again, 30 meeting number 1s, 15 meeting number 2s, 9 meeting number 3s, 6 to sign engagement agreements, which actually result in 2 to produce with us. So if we take that one step further and we want to know what that means in terms of upfront activity, if we have a 50% conversion rate from an introduction to a meeting, that means we need 60 introductions, or if we are using cold activity, that means we need somewhere between 300 to 600 touches in order to push enough activity through the entire process to come up with our 2 partnerships. Now, does that sound like a whole lot of activity? It might, until you kind of put this into perspective that now we have these partnerships that we anticipate continuing to work with for the remainder of our career, that we are paying 0 marketing for, and we are getting cases, 1 to 2 cases every single week is the goal and expectation with a producing partner. 1 to 2 new cases a week from each of them, which is obviously 2 to 4 new cases a week from between the 2 partnerships. And then all of a sudden, when you put this into context and you think about doing this over a 3 to 6 month period, it doesn't sound so crazy. It doesn't sound so crazy. So I hope this video was helpful, breaking down the actual numbers that you should expect using KPIs with accountants behind the scenes. If this sounds interesting and you like the idea of forming these types of producing partnerships, don't try to reinvent the wheel yourself. As I said, we've helped over 900 wealth managers and insurance agents at this point form partnerships with accountants. I will be sure to include a free 20-minute training video in the description of this video below. That's it for today's video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, do us a favor, just give it a thumbs up, that little like button below the video, and feel free to subscribe to this channel as well. Every single Friday we release new free videos like this.